Hello and welcome to the TRBusiness video channel. I'm here with Clara Susset, who is the Travel Retail Research Director for m1st-set. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Oh, thank you, Charlotte. It's a pleasure.
Good. We're very grateful to have you here. I wanted to talk first of all about the new consumer touchpoints research that you've been doing recently, and you've always done this sort of research, but this sort of new angle, and you're looking perhaps more in more detail at this sort of area of research. Tell us more about that.
Sure. So over the past few years, as you know, we've been doing a lot about mapping the different touch points, so understanding all the different ways in which travelers can inform themselves before the trip, because we've realized through our research that it's true that a lot of what happens in store is really important, but we see that a lot of people are also undecided about what they want to buy when they arrive at the airport. So in fact, we started off by doing a lot of qualitative analysis in understanding what are all the different ways in which travelers of different categories can inform themselves to really have an idea of all the different touch points that are out there. So being very specific, not talking about generic things like, for example, social media, but really going into details of what are the relevant ways to channel their attention basically before the trip. Then from there we moved on to actually quantifying the importance of these different touch points, and more importantly to understand what is the impact of these different touch points on their decision making in the store, because that's what we care about in the end, you know, what is making them decide to buy or not to buy. But then we realized that actually sometimes these findings were not always so actionable, in the sense that we were telling our clients, well, there's these 50 different touch points that are important. But then what can they do about that? So we started thinking, well, in fact, there's a lot of interaction between these touch points, meaning that people who are using a given touch point might very well use many others. So we are looking at how to optimize the combination of those touch points, meaning finding a reduced number of touch points, which is allowing you to maximize the number of people that you interact with. And then adding another layer on that, also to understand how the budget is allocated to these different touch points. For example, you might have a touch point that allows you to reach 10% more people, so you think this is amazing, but then in fact you realize it's making you triple your budget. So why not focus on another touch point which has a smaller increase in the reach, but is much more affordable? So really our aim is to allow our clients in travel retail, and especially the brands, to achieve the best ROI based on the usage of those touch points.
Sounds very interesting. I'm sure we'll hear more about those insights in the next few months. Perhaps we'll have another chat about that. I also wanted to talk about the Travel Retail Awards. Obviously, m1st-set is our partner in the Travel Retail Awards, and we're very excited about the new awards, particularly the Green Initiative Award. And this is we are going to award to an airport for the best green initiative. We're tapping into, obviously, consumer need and demand for more sustainable and green consciousness, basically, from the travel industry. And there's obviously been some good moves in those directions from airports and even suppliers as well, but there's not really a joined up, connected or collaborated way of thinking about these green solutions. And I just want to know, are you, from your clients, are you hearing that sort of feedback? They're obviously more conscious of needing to satisfy this increased consumer demand for greener way of working.
Yeah, absolutely. So what we've noticed a lot is that many of our clients, especially in confectionery and beauty products, are very concerned about this because, well, first of all, it matters to them as a company, but also because they know it's an expectation of travelers. Well, we think this is simply the reflection of changes in society in general, although they might be even stronger in travelers just because of the profile and the demographics of the people that you find at airports. So we've been doing a lot of research about what is the impact of these aspects on the decision making, and we found these two ways. First of all, a concern for the environment in general, and the need for consumers to feel like they're buying something which is environmentally responsible, but also a concern about health and in general the types of products they're consuming, because one thing we notice, especially with business travelers, is that they tend to be tired. They're having a week which is not necessarily the healthiest. They're traveling, they're jet lagged, they're overeating or not eating enough, whatever. So when they're looking for a snack, very often they want something, for example, to recharge and feel good about themselves. So there's that aspect of treating oneself at the airport, but also they expect you to feel good. Or same goes with skincare products. They want natural products which help them feel better about themselves.
Of course, yeah. And again, you mentioned that in local markets, there's also a clear trend towards this, but in travel, especially because we are dehydrated and sleep deprived, jet lagged, these need states perhaps more exaggerated in travel retail, and that's what you're hearing from your clients, which seems to be natural, I guess. In terms of any other sort of research projects you're working on, I know that you're reaching out or initially talking to people about this DIGO study, and I know I'm sure you've had some very interesting discussions so far. It's definitely a topic that people want to get underneath and sort of really pick apart, and the impacts of the DIGO trader.
I think we're really trying to move into a direction where we don't focus so much on airport only anymore, but rather to look at travel retail from a broader perspective.
Right,
so the DIGO research is part of that initiative, so understanding, all the current problematics that the industry is facing or how to react to them. Then at the same time, we're also doing more and more into the cruise and ferry business, because we've noticed a lot of interest from our clients on that, coming from the fact that especially on cruises you have them for a much longer period of time, so there's a chance to interact with them in a deeper and more meaningful way. We're also exploring the opportunities around food and beverage, in the sense that we think that probably in the future the border between what is really food and beverage and retail might start blurring more and more. So we think that research around that is not only relevant anymore to cafes and restaurants, but also to our clients, especially in categories such as spirits, confectionery, but also we see more and more blending of, for example, a cafe where you can also purchase some novelties in skincare or some nice jewelry and things like that. So we were starting to talk a lot with our clients about that as well, and we're seeing interesting feedback on that.
Which makes sense why we have those other two new travel retail awards, the one for best shopping environment on a cruise, and the new food and beverage award. So we're definitely keeping up with those trends. But it's been lovely talking to you today. Thank you so much for joining us, and we'll catch up soon.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you.